while you watch the game, we can kind of just see exactly what the stakes are and how the game actually is rolling out.
Sounds to me like Shire ain't a fan of homework.
I'm not, man. Hey, do your homework, first of all. But you can do stuff you're not a fan of, right? You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta, get it done. And right now, Andy, I don't think he's a fan of this situation. He's gonna be in first for just a little bit. Might not be too long. He's already down. This is tough.
Yeah, his teammate goes down, and that leaves him all alone. And look, we've seen solo clutches so far in the season in Cash Cups and a lot, but in this kind of lobby, from this zone onwards, from fourth being a solo, it's not going to be easy. He's got the resources to make it work to some degree, but he would rather be in this kind of position here. Janice and Vortex just 2 below, but they'll be able to sort that out with some ease. 100 above now, as you can see.
I'm going to bring back a word that you mentioned up 11 at the very start of this. It's called adaptation. I feel like this duo right here, it absolutely envelops that entire aspect. The very start of the season, they were the best, I feel like, out of the gate with their job, with the way they played, how they meshed well in terms of just looking at the duo type of scene in general. And now it feels like even with this spot, they've adapted to this lobby absolutely perfect.
Yeah, this is brilliant. They pull zone, and of course they are just tinkering along that line of being above and below on Surge, but you can see Vortex and Janice, very capable players, especially when it comes to their ability to aim. The MK rifles as well will be put to good use. And from this position, they've pulled zone. It's looking really good setting up for this endgame. And a lot of other players would really want to be in their position right now, if we're just being real.
It's tough overall, though, for a lot of teams. You're going to be thinking about what to do next from this standpoint. Even though you do have the zone, this is rocky reels. This is one of the more difficult sections of endgame when it comes to the map. Lots of mountains randomly getting into the way. It's not going to be the extreme of some of the big cliffs you see around the entire Fortnite island, but you won't expect obstacles coming straight out into your way. There's a lot more open sight lines, so there's more opportunities for Janice just being an absolute beambot right now. This is crazy. Reason down to just a sliver of HP. That was Vortex that was shooting there for just a second. My apologies, but you look at either one of these players live and they're just online.
And that's brilliant, right? Exactly, knowing that they have the power position, players are having to rotate into them and using that height advantage to perfection. Brilliant, brilliant stuff there from Vortex and Janice, and that's going to continue on throughout the rest of this one. Andy, though, right? We talked about the tough task he has on his hands. 5 charges left in that Spider-Man Mythic. Should be enough to get him through first moving if he uses it right. But he's just got to stay alive. He's got to make sure nobody figures out that he is a solo, because once they do, I'm telling you, they won't let him live for much, much longer. So he's just got to stay quiet here. Just, peeking around, making sure he has the information on where players are, but not trying to be too overzealous, not trying to make himself too big of a target.
He's got max pull now, though, and you saw that big overhead look on the left side just before. There's a no-man lane he needs to get through. There's an entire slew of, 20 different duos that are going to be right in front of him, and in high ground that's going to be looking down, and that's Janice and Vortex, so don't let anyone move around whatsoever for free. To give you a kind of lowdown on who is just popping off for the moment, Tayson just got a big elimination onto Gogo, it seemed like right before, who actually eliminated Fast Roki, so there's a big power dynamic over there, and he's now on the move on the top side. He's going to get pressure all the way back in the storm, has the Spider-Man gauntlets to use, actually has a rough landing, and then gets beamed down. Unfortunately, that's where that first place run ends.
Yeah, we knew that was going to be tough, rotating inwards, even with the Spider-Man players taking advantage of the fact that, he's in the air, he's vulnerable. And as we switch on over here to Tayson and Thomas, this is what I like to see from them. Oh, I spoke too soon. Thomas will fall straight through, take some fall damage, but he will be able to rekindle with Tayson. 8 below isn't great, but that should be fine as they move on over to that first moving zone. They've made their way through. They found some good positioning as well. Tayson just tarping ahead. We talked about how he will lead and Thomas will follow. But now it's going to be time to look for a refresh. Their mats are dwindling, and you can see them going towards the back of their tarp, looking for opportunities in the zone right before the second movement starts to pull.
Snake of a tarp with fangs at both ends. Looking for the first edit, tries to find a little bit of damage. Looks like Tayson might have seen a little bit of something. Mustache, though, goes down. 2 duels on the right side to stare in the way that they won't be able to climb. No damage there. It's just unfortunate. It looks like Vidil ends up stealing that elimination. They have to keep rolling back. Got a little bit of total damage, though. 91 as they actually move up in layers. Tayson's going. Are they planning on moving with this one? Rifle down in the feed. Vidil picking up another. Janice is still active with Bubak going down. Every big name is here to play.
saw how proactive Tayson was there, making sure as soon as the zone started to move, he was ahead of it. And this is why they want to position them in the front side, cut off any teams and get refreshes just like that. They will take Lazen down, and that's not going to be it for them. They're looking for more. They get that loot, and the mats are going to be really, really beneficial for them. So many players going down though, Shayo. It's absolutely hectic, but these guys are trying to find a sprinkle of control.
While they go into the chaos, Thomas now down to 1 HP. It's all up to Tayson, who actually got out of the way before the horror show started back in those boxes. It's going to be just him with 300 wood available and a little bit of brick too. The tarp's going to be a little bit dangerous this high. He might have to just fall all the way down. No, he actually stays. That's going to be huge. Hen down. He just had height, so who's there now? It's Vidil. It's Reason. The yin and yang rolling in, just knowing exactly how to aggressively tear a lobby apart. They're not in first though. That's going to be a team all the way down low who might be pressuring Tayson in front of his wall. Armor on the right side. Goodbye. No chance for pressure there, though. Tayson now has 3 different walls to focus on. Will he switch layers? Yes. He's all the way down to just 200 mass now, so every single wall will be absolutely crucial. Every single shot might give him a little bit more of a chance to stay in. Finds a healing enemy right before the wall places. Tayson's almost back in the game. Yes, it's a whole bunch of materials. High ground now is going to be up in his sights. It's going to be tough for Tayson, but he's making it work. A shot from the backside, and he blocks it off with a ramp, and still goes up for a little bit of a height take, then drops down. This man is like an active Lego set. He can adapt and move and do anything that he wants to do against 8 different teams.
I don't know how Tayson stayed alive for so long, but this is what Tayson does. We've seen him get crazy clutches, and even with these absolute monstrous teams above him, Tayson continues to find a way to stay up. But doing Reason doing a brilliant job of stopping anybody from usurping them on height, but now it's all eyes on Tayson. He's going to drop down very, very shambles, only got wood left, and he's trying to make himself as inconspicuous as possible. Doesn't want anybody to lay eyes on him, but he knows he will have to hit a big shot at some point. Zone is going to continue to pull, and things will get even more difficult as teams start to scurry their way over. Tayson just trying to sneak his way through on the front side. He's got a decent position right now, but it's not over. He has to get through, and he's going to start running into teams as he's on this low ground. He knows there's a team ahead of him in zone, and he needs to just try to find that right angle, that right shot. He's trying to squeeze it in. Only 23. That's not going to be enough, and so he chooses to dodge the fight, get up to his own build, but he runs right back into another team. Tayson, you can't hit these shots. You can't keep staying alive, and he will go down. Tayson doing a brilliant job there, but it wasn't enough. Vidil and Reason now will look to close out the game, and they're going to need to get the eliminations as well as they do it.
They're going to try to take that first place spot from Phoenix down below. That low ground team just needs to stay alive. They'll have enough placement with the Elam combinations to take away that top spot for now, but Raisin actually goes down. Cammy is still alive. The trade comes in, and now it's a duo v solo, looks like, situation. One teammate knocked, thrown off to the side. Reason going to be trotting all the way down, looking for that last shot. Phoenix is on low HP. These guys are absolutely flawless. Perfect from the high ground. What a way to kick off EU with the most aggressive duo of history rolling in and taking that first game.
I can't believe they've come out and actually done it. Reason of a duo that many people doubted coming into this season, and they haven't quite been able to prove to people that they are still one of the top dogs, but I think this is just a way to shut
Mira bien tu bondad es absurda y que soy posesivo de mi realidad como algo nocivo. Intentas escapar de lo conseguido.
Audin, mira, lo que ganó la FNCS, un gordo y un negro. Ay, pero salió, pero había ganado un gordo y un negro en la FNCS. ¿Sabes qué eso puede ser? Una predicción de lo que va a pasar. La próxima FNCS, la va a ganar un gordo, o sea, yo y un negro, o sea, tú.
My apologies. I don't know why and how I forgot how incredible you guys are at the game, but you just showed everybody why you should be this one of the duos we consider going to the finals. My goodness. Really quickly, before we talk about this game, we talk about those highlights, those beams that were very easy when you're watching. Like, those guys in first place? I love that. I love that. Now, back to the game, of course. My goodness, this first one was crazy. I think coming into duo format in the brand new round of FNCS qualifier #1, that was a pretty good way to start the competition.
Yeah, and what I find interesting is the fact that Vidil and Reason, kind of as Levin alluded to, were really good at the start of the season. They top 10 through the Flash Cups in a row, and then after that, where did they go? They disappeared. They didn't put in the grind. They didn't practice. We know
Pero en
this
sí,
chapter is
imagínense
very much
cambiarle la
focused
voz
on
a
who
uno de
can
los
do what, who
personajes
can
más
actually practice.
antiguos
This
de
time,
toda la historia de los
just
videojuegos.
going
Es
up on
como
the
si
high
a
ground,
Goku le cambiara la voz de Mario
absolutely
Castañeda,
dominating.
güey.
Interestingly, only 5 eliminations for
esto va a
the
ser
super rank
épico,
heavy team.
Suena raro y suena
Almost
feo que
like
sea el mejor
half of
actor
what
de
you would
todos.
expect. I
Claro,
was
no te
looking,
puedes
waiting to see
imaginar a
10
Chris Pratt
eliminations, and there's just
actuando
5.
como Mario Bros.
I'm
Obviamente
underwhelmed.
va a ser la voz,
I mean,
simplemente va a
those
ser
guys,
eso. No,
they
no en la
sort of
vida
struggle in
real,
Final
ahí sí
Lobby
que se vería
sometimes,
raro,
right? They
güey.
did
Pero
win those cash
básicamente
codes,
ese
but
es
we
el
know them
contexto del
ideally
Team
from
Sacer.
trios that
También
they
existe
struggled
otra
with surge, but
teoría
this time,
respecto
I
a
mean,
la
it was a
última
very good
película que
zone for
será
them.
de
This was a
Jurassic
zone
World. Como
right near
saben, se va a
Rocky
acabar la
Views here,
trilogía
and that
y
is,
en
I
la
mean, these
última
guys land
película que
Condo
está
Canyon,
pronta a
right? So
salir
they're just
saldrán
going to
los
be in that
protagonistas de
area.
Jurassic
They have
Park
the best
original.
spots in the
Y claro,
map.
al ser el
There's a
final
ton
de
of
la
little
trilogía,
hills and
probablemente
mountains
esa
basically
frase
in
tenga
this
más
area
sentido. El
where you
Team
can
Sacer
just box
el
up on,
final
right?
de la
You can
trilogía.
see
O
the
por último
absolute
podemos tomar la
congestion there on the south side of
explicación
everyone
más
trying to play
sana
dead side, but
posible. No tiene
in the
ningún
middle, you know, there's so many of those good players, but those zones, those are tough to play if you're just running from outside of this spot. But Vidir and Vizen, I mean, expected to do well from there. I mean, they got zoned, right?
Yeah, and interestingly on top of that, right, you're talking about teams who did well from that area. Cammy and Teak, they actually dropped the Cammy split, as we've obviously mentioned at the top of the show already. Super close here. This was a really good zone for them. And also that, they capitalized on this. Super good game for them too. 6 eliminations. Now, on average, Cammy and Teak in the Cash Cups have been managed to get 3 eliminations per game. So coming out of that with a 6 elimination game like this is looking super strong for them. Third place is like very average for them, right? These guys are getting deep into end games. They're super consistent at making sure they are able to get those good placements, right? Like a third, like we've just seen here. The eliminations that they're popping off with right now is them on an absolute tear, and I'm excited to see the consistency that we know these guys can do from FNCS champions.
Absolutely. We got to take a look at this leaderboard. And this is actually something that caught me by surprise, right? Ryzen and Phoenix ending the game with 8 eliminations. But look across the board, fellas. You've got another team in Stena and Red-Eyed MDR as well with 8. So we're seeing a lot more of this early aggression like you guys have kind of hinted at. How are we feeling about this first game?
And eliminations coming through strong as always. I did see at one point that beam that you were talking about going over Raid's head. He was in first at one point during that end game, and obviously that 8 eliminations was the driving force behind that. If they can manage to keep that kind of flow up game after game for all 6 matches, these guys can easily hit that top 8, which is the important qualification threshold.
That's right. We'll have to see how things continue to unfold. Didn't mean to cut you off there. Boop.
It's all good.
Sounds like the bus is ready to go. So when we come back, I'm coming to you first. Get ready for it. But for now, gotta hang out with Shy Wager and Levin2K. We got more of these games to play for you.
Thank you so much, Zeke. Always unexpected faces in that first game that up the ante, Levin, up the stakes for everyone else. And now it's time for the legends of the duo scene to play catch up.
Yeah, look, it's going to be interesting to see how some of these teams bounce back after that first one. Of course, you know, I'm sure a lot of people wouldn't have expected to see Stena and Rayed out there with an 8 elimination game, but they went out and did it. And we know it's possible this season. The right combination, the right chemistry in endgame can lead to so many eliminations. So let's just jump right back into it. We got game 2 on the line, baby. Let's go.
All right, game number 2 is on the line, and we kind of got a flavor, a sense of how things rolled down. It's serious, it's high octane, it's action here in the FNCS, and we're barely even a third of the way through, Levin. So let's get right back to it. We got Covert Cavern coming through, seeing exactly how things end up there. It's a very early drop this time, and past that, Swilliam, who went out early, Clement, who got off a little bit earlier as well, have their chance at redemption in the second game.
Yeah, we saw how things ended up for some of these teams in that first game. For Lepshi and Swilliam, it wasn't so great, but they look like they have the worst drops here, so not going to be ideal. I don't expect some instant fighting, but we'll see. It looks like they actually are going to be contesting on these buildings nearby, so they've got to be careful. They have landed together, and Clement and Floki instantly looking to get in there, and Floki's got to be careful, takes a lick of damage. But instantly, you see those teams posturing to try and take the fight. Gonna take some time now to get their materials up, prepare themselves for what seems to be inevitable now, that one of these 2 teams will go down. And don't forget, there is another team here at Chonkers as well.
You know, you're down bad 2 and all you have is a harpoon to deal with and pressure through, like, what, half a window at an enemy team, and your team is on a ramp beside you. Not a fun story. And there's Lecce rolling with the beam and missing. Completely uncharacteristic. Another player comes from the sidelines, and it's Clement that takes him out. Swilliam trying his best, but missing a few shots too. He's too smooth with it. Clement can't be tracked, and now Swilliam is left on the top side of his box.